Welcome to All Worn Out. I'm your host, Warren Meredith. On the show today, Alexandre Maheux of rock band Sunday Riot Club. They've got a brand new EP out and big shows coming up in Cornwall, in Kingston, and in Oshawa. Let's get into it now with Alex. Hi, everybody. Welcome to All Worn Out. It's a podcast about music. It's a podcast about what you're passionate about. It's a podcast about what our guest is passionate about. And it's a podcast about what you're passionate about. So I'm so happy, lucky, thrilled, excited to welcome to the show the very suave, the debonair, the excellent, the cool.
Thank you. Wow.
Alexandre Maheux.
Thanks for having me, man, and thank you for that introduction. That's awesome.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I want everyone to feel like, they're the top dog in this place.
Man, for sure.
You absolutely
That's
are.
That's awesome.
And I do think you bring a lot of style and a lot of confidence, a lot of suave to the Ottawa music scene.
Thank you.
It rubs off on everybody in the best of ways. So that's why I'm so excited to have you here today.
Thanks for the kind words. That's awesome.
Oh, absolutely. So you are, of course, a member of the band Sunday Riot Club.
Yep.
And we go back actually quite a long ways with our bands. I mean, we go back to, I think, like 2018.
Yeah, something like that, like 6-7 years now.
Yeah.
Already.
Yeah, like we go back to a time where we hide the music we recorded, like I do anyways. Like you can't find my EP from that.
No, at all?
No, that first EP that we have, like it's buried, Like
okay.
we don't want anyone to find it. If anyone owns it, it's like, good for you, but But yeah, remember those shows like where we had to like set up all the own audio ourselves? In Gatineau, and it was like
at the Brass. That was actually our very first show. Well, actually, the band's very first show, my very first show, and JP's very first show. Because JP and I, that's our first actual band, and it's been 7 years now already. But yeah, that was at the Brass, in Elmer, and that was awesome. Lots of people. That was a good turnout. Actually, that was fun.
We actually, we did have good turnouts, and we did have like a lot of fun in the early days.
Yeah,
and. You could tell, or I could tell back then that, you guys were hungry, and just like we were, like we're hungry to love it up, live in the music.
Yeah.
And
well, still, I think we still are.
Oh, absolutely.
I think same thing for you guys. I think we still are, and that's the important thing about it. You want it. You want to play music. You want to improve. You want to write better music all the time. You want to write your best next song all the time, which I think is really important. To set the bar higher every year of your life. So, I think that's really important as a band. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to keep moving that goalpost because, if you set goals, it's great because as a team, when you achieve them, you're like, that's amazing. You get morale. You keep going again. You keep going again.
Yeah.
But of course, it's a challenge to keep everyone on page and to find the right people.
Yep.
So how
that's
long...
part of the game of being a musician, I guess.
It's a huge part of it. Yes, I was talking about that with Roland Picard last night. Just saying, it never ends. Like the whole
it's never ending.
Finding the right people that want to always push with you with the right energy and all that stuff. It's like it keeps going on.
Well, I think the thing is you got to tackle your band as a small business, pretty much. That's really important, and lots of bands don't think about that. I work in marketing and communications, so maybe that's why I think that way. But I think you really have to tackle your band as a business. It's an organization you got. It's not, of course, you do it because you love it, but it's actually a business. You got merch, you got timelines, you got stuff like that. So it's an actual business. Yeah.
It is a business, and especially the more money we invest into it and sink into the project, the more and more we're like, this better be some kind of a business. Like
this better work.
Even if it's a failing business, it needs to be recognized because you start believing in your product, which is a great thing, and then you want to invest in your product as a business, which is a great thing.
You want to improve it all the time.
That's right. Yeah, get the secret sauce going. So in the beginning, you guys were a 3-piece?
Always been.
And it never changed, right?
Let's keep it that way. No, it never changed.
Were you guys ever a 4-piece? I'm like, not details, but
maybe for a month.
Okay, all right.
Well, we don't need to go there.
Right on, we won't then. So then it's been a 3-piece for the most part.
Easier.
And you're the bass player.
Yeah.
And I always see you loving it up there, grooving on stage.
Yeah.
Which is, I like to see that. Some bass players, they stand in the back and they're just they just pluck the strings
Yeah.
and they look cool. But
But
you like to get up there.
we're a three-piece, right? So we need to move a lot. We need to fill holes here and there all the time. Same thing for JP on guitar. Same thing for Scott on the drums. So I mean, we need to move more. We got more space on stage to cover, pretty much. But we like it too. We like having, I don't know how you say it, like showmanship, stuff like that. We're a big fan of the '80s, so I mean, we love it. So
You're just like my Alex. You're just like my bass player.
Yeah.
Likes to get up there, likes to get into the crowd, all that good stuff.
yeah, I mean, we go on stage to have a good time, so people in the crowd can have a good time. So we want to move. We don't want to be standing there. So I think that's really important. Yeah.
What are the influences on Sunday Riot Club? Would it be fair to say Motley Crue is one of them?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And like bands from that '80s era that kind
Yeah.
of brought the party.
Yeah, Motley Crue for sure. Guns N' Roses, The Cult.
Yeah.
The Cult. Just bought my tickets for the Cult show in Montreal in September. So yeah, The Cult. Mostly Sonic Temple album. Everything that's like '80s, I would say. Lots of guitars, lots of riffs. Riffs are important. Riffs, guitar solo. Ozzy Osbourne for sure. I mean, the No More Tears album's huge on me. Kiss. I'm seeing the Love Gun album
yes.
over there.
Oh,
I've been
yes.
that was my first actual big band, Kiss, when I was a kid. So yeah, these would be the bands that are influential on, I guess, the Sunday Riot Club sound.
Kiss keeps coming up with different guests
Of course.
on the show. Kiss
Yeah.
is one of the
Good.
bands that reoccurs as
Yeah.
a big influence.
That's awesome.
And I get it. And for you as well, like you worked in marketing, so like Kiss probably
Yeah.
sparked that whole thing in the beginning. But that's what I
Yeah.
want to get at now. So let's go back in time. And where was Alex Maheux born?
In Hull, born and raised in Hull. I mean, I still live in Hull. I live, 20-minute walk from the Rainbow downtown. I live downtown. So I was born in Hull. Always lived in Hull. I moved actually for almost 4 years when I got out of college. Radio programs. So I lived in Kapuskasing for 4 months up north in Ontario, 12 hours from here.
Awesome.
Then I moved to Maniwaki for a year. Then I moved to Saint-Jérôme for a year. So like 3.5 years pretty much. So, and then my main goal was to come back to the Ottawa-Gatineau area because, I mean, that's, like I said, that's where I was born and raised, and I love it here. It's beautiful. All my friends, family are here. So that was my main goal to come back one day. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And so you attended École Secondaire Mont Bleu.
Yep.
Where was that? That was in that's in Hull?
Yeah, that's in Hull. That was my neighborhood high school. So where is it? It's on Cité des Jeunes. It's actually next to the Heritage College, the English college in Hull. So it's next to that college. I mean, the back is pretty much Le Parc de la Gatineau, the Gatineau Park.
Okay.
So where you can go hiking and all that
Beautiful.
stuff. Yeah. So that's where it's located. It's in Hull.
Awesome. That's
Yeah.
so cool. And during that time, let's say you're in high school, grade 9, grade 9, grade 10.
Yeah.
Let's say what music are you into?
Same as today.
Same music,
Exact
eh?
same, yeah. Well, I mean, my dad plays music. So actually, my first show, I was in elementary school. I was 11 years old, and my very first show was the Ozzy Osbourne tour, Down to Earth, with Zakk Wylde on guitar and Jason Newsted on bass. When they had the switch with Metallica with Rob Trujillo. So that was my very first show. Opening acts were Voivod from the Quebec side.
Yeah, man.
Voivod. And Jason Newsted was playing with Voivod too at that time. And Finger 11, when they were kind of starting, they just had released the One Thing song. I don't know if you remember it.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, that was way back then. That's like 20 years ago. So that was my very first show. Yeah, I was like 11. So I've always listened to the exact same. I still listen to Kiss a lot, Ozzy all the time. I mean, on my way here, I had the Sonic Temple album in the car from the Cult, Guns N' Roses all the time. Billy Idol, we were talking about him before the camera was on. Billy Idol, huge fan. Steve Stevens on guitar. So I mean, it's always been the same music, the same influences. I dig discovering new stuff, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm an old soul with music. I love the same old stuff. I mean,
Look at
the
my
albums,
records, man.
exactly,
Like,
the Beatles.
Yeah, I'm
all
not.
that stuff.
I can't say anything.
Yeah,
You know, it's like I totally.
They're classics, right? And there's a reason why they are classics. It's because they're great. So I mean,
Some of the younger guests who come in, I end up lecturing them on this stuff a little bit at the end. Like, I'll be like, I want you to look at these people up here. They're not the most beautiful to look at necessarily.
The music's
but
awesome.
they were the damn best,
Yeah.
okay?
So I guess.
And, like, funny story about Voivod is, gosh, I guess this would be, like, 2023. I'm, like, 20 maybe, yeah, I think so. Anyways, I'm sending out a bunch of messages to all kinds of people on Facebook, trying to rally likes and comments to our No Shelter music video. And I'm trying to ramp it up, and I'm sending them out. And I get a message back, and this person's like, hey, this girl's like, I really like this video. It's great. You know what? I'm going to show my boyfriend. And I'm thinking, that's cool, whatever.
Thank you, yeah.
Yeah, like that. Thank you, exactly. But then she's like, he's in Voivod.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh. And then they come
That's
back
awesome.
and they're
Yeah.
like, oh, it's a great video, like great song, loved it. Like
Yeah.
keep going, cheers. So yeah, some love for Voivod from me
Yeah.
as well. I mean, just from that random experience, I got good vibes from those guys. So that's really cool.
Yeah, they're cool. They're still on. I mean, they still play
Oh,
everywhere
yeah.
in like Asia. They've always been big in Asia. So I know they're back and forth between like Eastern countries and stuff like that. So yeah.
Was French music big in your childhood at all?
No, not at all. I mean, growing up in Ottawa, Gatineau, I guess that's why. No, well, I mean, I have some French artists that I like a lot, but the funny thing is, most of them are from France, not even the province of Quebec.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. I think I've heard Mig say that before too. But that's the thing. Like, I was just asking because Miguel, I've gone on many car rides with him,
Yeah.
and you know he's very French, a member of my band,
Yeah.
and so especially in the first 3 years, I listened to a lot of French music, and like I got an education
That's
on
cool.
on some of
That's awesome.
I was trying to like get him to tell me stories about it, like what are they saying? What are they saying?
What are they like? Yeah.
And like I always remember, like I'll never forget how hilarious it was when they got into that song that was about putting on a sweater, like the Kotoate,
Oh.
and like that song was like always on the radio at that
Yeah,
time. So I was
too
like,
much.
"What is this about? Explain this to me." And when they
Yeah.
explained it to me, I was like, "That's silly."
Yeah,
Like,
well,
that's-
lots of music from the province of Quebec is like that, which is fine.
It's got character. I think
Yeah.
it has character and like
Yeah.
also high production values and like some very cool voices as well. Like I can't think of his name. Dang me.
Like French music. Yeah. Like, I'm a big fan of, like, let's say Francis Cabrel. He's from France. You might have heard the name before, but it's like beautiful music. He's a legend in France. He's been on for like 40 years now, and lots of classic music, like lots of classic song, should I say? But yeah, you should check him out. You'd love it. I think it's beautiful
Okay.
melodies all the time. Beautiful acoustic
Cool.
guitar. Yeah, he's
I
a
will.
legend. Yeah.
So when you were, say, a young child, what's like the first song that's coming to your mind that you remember rocking out to? I tell people like the first one I remember
Yeah.
for me, I was like at my babysitters and I was like 3.5 or something, and I was like holding on to like the bar to keep me in the thing,
yeah.
the pen, and it was La Bamba. Like her daughters were singing.
Yeah. Richie Valens.
Ba, bum, ba. Yeah, and I was like, yeah, and I remember rocking out to that. And so yeah, do you have anything like that?
Yeah, well, I remember, which that's funny. I remember both times hearing Crazy Train, Blizzard of Oz, the album, because I also remember when I was a kid, the album cover was kind of spooky. 81 with Randy Rhoads, that, and I remember, like if it was yesterday, hearing Running with the Devil from Van Halen, the big, the horn at the beginning, and then the bass. And I remember that. And I also remember that the first time I heard it, it was on my dad's birthday in July. And he had bought the album while doing grocery shopping in the morning. And it was his birthday. And I remember he came back with that album. And me and my brother were like, what's that? We were young. We were like, what's that? And he put it on, and I remembered the big horn, and then the bass thumping, and it sounded so good. And I remember that we had gray carpet, the walls were still white, the house was new. The tile was white and black. And yeah, I remember it, which is awesome. That's a good memory. Yeah. So I guess I would say like Crazy Train and Running with the Devil from Van Halen first album. Yeah.
That's cool because maybe that has something to do. Like you guys in Sunday Riot Club, I find have some great intros, some great lead-ins to your songs.
Thank you. Yeah.
And I think maybe that could do with that. The fact
Probably,
that
yeah.
that thought.
I mean, Crazy Train, Van Halen.
Yeah, man, those great intros to rock songs in the 80s. And,
yeah, that's the thing we always try to tackle, JP and I, having an actual intro to the song, which has a build-up to the actual song. It's like a book, pretty much. You need an intro to the book, right? That leads to the what's going on, what will happen, and all that stuff. So, yeah, we always try to. Sometimes we only have a riff, and we're like, damn, it's not an actual song yet because we don't have the intro yet. So, yeah, that's really important. Thank you, actually.
Oh, absolutely. When was the first time you can remember picking up a bass?
Well, that came up late because I started off on drums when I was 6 years old.
Wow,
Yeah.
I did not know that at all about you.
Yeah, I started off on drums. I took drum lessons for a while with Francois, a dude that used to work at Steve's Music in Ottawa. Francois Roberge, awesome drum teacher. I sometimes still run into him at Walmart when I do grocery shopping and we talk all the time. So yeah, I started off on drums at 6. I had my first drum kit. My dad was playing guitar. My brother started playing guitar. Then I moved on bass in 4th year of high school. So I was like 14, 15.
Okay.
Then moved on to guitar, came back to bass. Well, actually, I brought the bass back for Sunday Riot Club because I couldn't find any bass player and stuff like that. So it's like, I'll just play bass. I'll write some cool bass lines and stuff like that. So I'll play bass in Sunday Riot Club. But yeah, so I play bass, drums, and guitar. So
Are you a better drummer than a bass player? Just in your opinion.
Not
Just in your
anymore.
opinion. Okay, cool.
Not anymore.
After the 7 years of doing the bass.
Yeah,
and...
well, even more than that, because I sold my drum kit when I got out of college, and I had to move from my parents to Kapuskasing. I needed money. I mean, drum kit was big in the basement, so my parents were like, "You still need it?" And I was like, "I guess I'll sell it. I'll sell it, and then one day I'll buy another one." But yeah. So I sold it when I got out of college. Classic.
I hear you. But that's actually very cool to know, and that musical thing started with you very early then.
Yeah,
and
6 years old, I had a black Maxwin drum kit. Maxwin was made by Pearl, doesn't exist anymore, but I remember it. Then I got all my money together at like 12 last year of elementary school to buy an actual black Pearl export drum set with the rack mount and Sabian cymbals and all that stuff. But anyways, yeah, I remember it. Yeah.
That's sweet.
Yeah, man.
So then you said that Sunday Riot Club's your first band, right?
Yeah, first and only band I had.
So no bands in high school. Were you just a very focused student?
I had bands, but like for specific events, so we didn't have like any names or stuff like that. Talent shows and or stuff like that.
Right.
So yeah, we didn't, like I said, we didn't have actual names for the band. So they weren't like serious project at all. We would learn songs we needed for the talent show and that's it.
Yeah, well, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right. And so you come out of high school and you get into media. How does that happen? You went to La Cité Collégiale.
Yeah.
And I know that that's like super popular.
Yeah, well, it's pretty much the equivalent to Algonquin College, but in French.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, actually, I got out of high school. I went to Cégep, which is college on the Quebec side for 2.5 years. I didn't do much because I didn't know what I wanted to do at all. Then I found out La Cité had a radio program 2 years. I was like, that looks interesting. It was awesome. Had a great time. Made some lifelong friends there. In a week and a half, I'm actually going to a baby shower in Rouyn-Noranda for one of my La Cité friends who's having his first born child. But I graduated 12 years ago. So made lifelong friends. Radio program was awesome. 2 years. They were insanely busy years, but it was great. I loved it. Met some cool people from the media domain. Then I moved to Kapuskasing, like I was saying, for 4 months up north in Ontario, which was awesome. I was there for summertime, wasn't there for winter, which is great. Then Maniwaki for radio still. Then Saint-Jérôme, right beside Montreal, as a journalist for Le Journal de Montréal for a year. Then I was like, all right, I'm coming back to Gatineau. And I remember I was like, I told my boss, Marc, I told him, I was like, yeah, I'm going back home. He's like, what are you going to do? I was like, well, I didn't even think of that, but I'm going back home. I'll need to figure this out on my way home. And he was like, all right, cool. Well, good luck, man. So yeah, I got back. University of Ottawa. Then at the same time, I got a job at the 94.5 in Ottawa. Was there for 3.5 years as a co-anchor and anchor.
Wow.
Yeah. Morning show. Then after that, I was a commercial spot writer for 3.5 years at the 104.7 in Gatineau. So I was writing all day long commercial spots and voicing them, and yeah, it was awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's so cool. And like the experience you gained in doing that is fascinating. And
Yeah.
like, so for university, did you have to go to Ottawa U, or this was all basically like through CEGEP, through Le Cité,
Oh,
they
yeah.
like found you like internships or places
No.
to go?
I mean, you can choose. I made the own choice myself, but I mean, coming from the Quebec side, you can go to any university you want in Canada, pretty much, right? Well, anywhere in the world, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I know I decided to go to Ottawa U in communications. Then after a year and a half, I switched to UCO in Hull because it was way cheaper.
Oh,
Like
okay.
way cheaper.
Yeah.
And then I mean, I was working the morning shift, so I was at UCO in Hull for a year. I was working the morning shift at the radio station, so I was waking up every day at 3 a.m. to get to the radio station for 3.5 in the morning. So at one point, I was like, you know what? I might just finish my bachelor degree maybe later on in life. I don't know. So it's still up there somewhere.
It's happening one
Yeah,
day.
someday, exactly. Maybe when I'll retire.
But still, like, you were hosting a show. Do you think you're going to host a radio show again one day like that?
Maybe. Why not?
Yeah.
Maybe. That's a really good question. I never thought of it.
Maybe one day, yeah.
Yeah,
like,
one day.
that's-
Something that could be really interesting though is recording your own show and
Yeah.
you sell it to many radio stations in Canada, French radio
Yes.
stations.
Yes.
So that could be something really interesting. Right
think
now,
so.
I don't have time for it.
Yeah.
I still live it. I still listen to radio a lot. I still have all my friends and in radio stations, everyone in Gatineau in Ottawa. Right now, I don't have time for it, but we never know. We never know what's going to happen with life, right? So,
So
it
true.
might happen one day.
Maybe one day.
We're still young, man. I mean, could happen.
Well,
in
you
5
are,
years.
man. You are. You were. I think you're in the '90s. I'm back a couple of years
Yeah.
there. You know, back in the '80s, baby.
Yeah, 91 for me, so 33. So
Oh yeah, lots of time. 33
happen.
was like my favorite number.
Yeah.
Growing up, is my goalie number.
okay, yeah.
And then when I turned 33, that was the year that like we got to play at a Sens game, and I was like, yeah, it's because I'm 33. It's because it's my year. It's my
There
lucky
you go.
number, man. And like, just like
Yeah.
thoughts of the stoner musician, my friends. Really advanced thinking.
Yeah.
So then it's like once the year was over, it's like, dude,
What's
man,
gonna happen?
Now there's nothing left to hope
Yeah,
for,
nothing
man. But, like,
Yeah, so I mean, I could get back behind a microphone one day. I don't know. Like I said, we never know what's gonna happen.
yeah, cool.
Yeah.
You guys have how many albums, Sunday Riot Club that is, right now out? Or how many EPs? It's because it's a lot. 2020, 2021, 2022. Like, you guys release all the way through till now, right?
Yeah. So we used to release singles.
Mm-hmm.
I guess because it was cheaper. Let's be honest.
Well, we have this conversation with pretty much every guest on
Yeah.
here. Single versus album. How do you conquer that? What is the best plan of action? Because I want us,
Yeah.
everyone, all the musicians, this is such an important conversation that we have with our bands.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a best plan of action. I think it all depends on how you promote it and how you put it out. And what
Yeah.
you do with it. So we used to answer your question, we used to release singles, but now we released in a year 2 EPs. Yeah, 2 EPs, and then we're already working on something else.
Yeah, graffiti. And
Yeah.
then l'opéra.
Yeah.
Sorry about my français.
That's cool.
Pas d'accent makes me sound like, not great, but yeah, you know what
That's
I'm
cool.
talking
Yeah.
about.
So yeah, 2 EPs on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, and lots of singles. And we're, like I was saying, we're already working on some more stuff right now. Yeah.
What made you say I'm making a band? I'm forming a band. What day was that you decided it had to happen?
Actually, it was pretty much when I came back to Ottawa, Gatineau to live here, and when I was done with school, university, college, all that stuff, and I was working. That's pretty much when and why.
Yeah.
I guess for the love of music. I mean, music's always been a big part of my life. I don't know if there's an actual moment when I said I'm starting a band, and that's now.
Was it when you met JP? Was it when you met your counterpart?
Maybe. I mean.
When does he enter the scene? How do you guys?
I remember actually.
Connect?
Yeah, it was through Facebook. We had people in common, and I would see him in my people you may know all the time. And back then, his profile picture was him with a Stratocaster guitar. And then I can't remember when or why we added each other, because we were working on contracts with a company I was also working on contracts with. So I think at one point we were in the same group chat. So anyways, I sent him a message. I stalked him, and I could see like he was a big 80s music fan, Iron Maiden fan. And at one point I was like, hey man, you want to play music? Do you have a band? He's like, no, I don't. Yeah, sure, I want to play music. So we sent each other songs to learn. There was Enter Sandman, of course, Metallica, Back in Black, AC/DC, and they were one or two of their songs. So anyway, we met when I used to live in Elmer. We met on my place. I picked him up, went back to Elmer, started playing the songs. I had my bass, and we're like, all right, let's do it. From that point on, it was just like super simple from that point on. And then we started writing our own material from that point, actually, which was funny. But yeah, that's how we met.
Okay, all right. So it started off like very
Easily.
innocuous. There's nothing about it that was like, we're going to take over the world.
at
it
all.
was just like,
No.
hey, do you want to get together,
Yep.
play some tunes? I think you look like you got a similar passion and affinity for
Influences.
this music. Exactly.
Yeah.
And, and so then you guys just kind of clicked,
Yeah.
it sounds like. And that's a very cool thing, especially now 7 years down the road. And Jean-Philippe Therrien is a fantastic guitar player.
Yeah, thank you.
And
Yeah.
I think vocally he's got balls, because he has
Yeah.
improved and improved to the point where
Yeah.
I am very impressed now.
Thank
and
you.
yes, and I think it takes balls to sing in another language than your first language. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's so ballsy. And like I can't imagine if I tried to sing a French song, it would sound so bad, and I wouldn't have the balls to do it. And yet JP has done a great job, and he's only getting better and better.
Yeah,
and,
all the time.
yeah. So I'm proud of him. I'm
Thank
proud
you.
of
Yeah.
that wicked guitar playing.
And hats off too. I mean, he took vocal lessons with Denise Marion here in Ottawa.
Oh, excellent! I've only heard great things about
Yeah,
Denise.
she's awesome. I also had vocal lessons with her, but at one point I quit,
Mm-hmm.
and JP kept doing them. But yeah, he took vocal lessons with Denise Marion. Shout out to her.
Yeah,
Hi Denise, we love you.
absolutely. And also, like, I noticed the 80s styling on his vocals is
Yeah.
becoming more apparent, and
Yeah.
like I thought I was like really respecting that in the most recent releases. And I think, the more they get that range working going, it's so good. Like, it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
fantastic
That's awesome.
work.
It's a hard task to actually.
That's what I'm saying. It's not easy, and yet he does it, and he's always smiling. He's
Yeah.
always excited.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I've never seen that guy in a bad mood, to be honest with you.
No, that's true.
But maybe that's just like because he loves playing shows, and that's when I've seen him.
Yeah.
But like that would make sense to me.
Yeah,
Um,
totally.
So you guys have become pretty much like brothers or like best friends, I'd imagine, by this point.
Yeah, 7 years, and now, man, time went by so fast.
Oh, I know.
When you think of it now,
I know.
it
Yeah.
went by so fast. 7 years in the same car, going to shows, meeting up to go to friends' shows, support other bands, all that stuff. And now, since last October, actually, Scott has been on board, and it's been better than ever. So we're stoked. We're all friends. Scott's a great drummer. He's just an awesome dude too. So yeah, last October we're like, last drummer quit. JP and I were like, all right, that's fine. Like, that's life. And we're like, how long will it take to find someone else? So we had auditions on October 14th, last October 14th. Met a couple of dudes, all really good drummers. We all liked them, but Scott was like the perfect match, and he had just moved in Ottawa from London, Ontario. So we're like, what's going on? I mean, that's like heaven sent. We were super happy about it. So yeah, it's been better than ever. Shows I've never been that great. We never had that much fun. So I mean, that's awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah, because at first, honestly, we were kind of scared. Like, how long will it take to find another musician? Well, you know how it is, right?
Yes, I do.
So at one point, you're like, is it still worth going?
Yep.
Still doing that thing?
Yep.
So yeah. So
it's very, very difficult.
Yeah.
And it's, like I said, it's ongoing for most bands, even really successful ones.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
And I was saying, again, last night to Rowan, I was like, for the bands that like never have to like go through that as much, like the Beatles, the outcome is like they hate each other.
Yeah,
so it's like
to each other.
Yeah, there's like not a happy outcome either way, really. It's like
either, we read it all the time, right? They have separate tour buses.
Either people change or you hate each other.
And so they're like, we don't even want to stay in the same hotel rooms or same hotel as
I know
with that guy. Well, I'll be at another hotel because I just don't want to cross paths. I'll see him on stage and that's it. But I mean, yeah, we'll see. Maybe we can talk about it in 40 years, and maybe we'll say the same thing. We'll see.
Maybe. I mean, I think we've done good.
Yeah.
I've got several relationships out of this band where I feel like they're the closest relationships that I've ever formed. You know, and I've had a few bands or whatever it is. So.
Well, I mean, you bandmates, they become your friends, and you see them even more than your actual closest friends. Like,
yeah, it's like coworkers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You see them weekends, evenings, all the time. You spend full days with them out of town, which we do a lot. So your girlfriend gets to know them too. They become friends too. So they meet your closest friends. So yeah, you're with them pretty much all the time. And when you're not actually with them, there's always a group convo that's on through Messenger. Shooting stuff, what we need to do, all that stuff, organization.
Yeah, that messenger chat thing, it's interesting. Like, it can have a life of its own, you know? For me, I think so. Yeah. Like, for my band, it's like, sometimes I'm like, I'm not going in there. Like,
not even,
It's like, I'm not even going to open that today, you know?
Yeah.
Not that it's bad or anything, it's just, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Sometimes the antics are funny, you know? But I guess that's what we love about being in a band and the teamwork, the personalities that are coming and working together.
That's part of it.
Yeah.
I mean,
definitely.
But it's fun. I mean, ours has always been super simple. So yeah, well, until now, we might see, but no, it's always been super simple. So, I mean, it's a 3-piece too, right? So scheduling and all that stuff, it's always, I think, easier.
Yeah.
But yeah, for sure.
We'll see. Yeah, with the 5-piece, it's more like there's one guy who's always feeling like they can get lost in the mix. Maybe, you know, I'll hide behind everybody else.
Yeah, and,
that's normally me, folks, because I'm the diva. So, you know, I'm just joking. So let's talk about Wild Wild Spirit, because I think when that song came out, it kind of triggered or signaled you guys marching forward and like making big moves, understanding what you guys wanted to do, I think.
Yeah, well, I guess thank you. It's actually one of my favorite top 2 songs from Sunday Riot Club, actually. And we actually wrote that song while we were in studio recording the first Graffiti EP. And it just, I came up with the bass riff, the intro bass riff in like 2 seconds. I was just noodling around. And then I was like, all right, we need that big drum roll. Da, 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 da. And I mean, the whole song just came together in like a minute. and we had the full song, which is they're always the best songs, right? When
Yeah. Wake Up Boy, they started playing it. I was half an hour late to jam, folks, which, you know, back then was common. I've gotten a lot better at it.
with scheduling.
I've gotten a lot better, but mostly because I love this band so much that I had to. But I was pretty bad for a while. Anyways, so I showed up like half an hour late, and because I slept during when I was supposed to be at band.
Yeah.
And so they're playing this song, and I thought, like, they're pissed at me. So I went up and I just ad-libbed Wake Up Boy.
Okay, yeah.
You know, in one go, because I was just singing about myself.
And it makes
how
the
I'm
best songs.
always late. I'm always not on time. I'm the stupid Wake Up Boy. And you know what? Because it was honest and authentic, it stuck and it worked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I totally know what you mean. Sometimes songs just go click, 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 click.
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't. Sometimes it's a bit more of a struggle and a push and a pull, but...
And that's pretty much what happened too with the song Rambling Moonchild, which is also on the first Graffiti EP. But yeah, I mean, Wild Wild Spirit, it pretty much defined where we were going, like you were saying, sound-wise, more mature sound. Maybe more of a, like, let's say, Sonic Temple direction to the album, all the sounds, the guitar, the drums, how we want them to sound. Another thing we also added that you don't necessarily notice on the song or on the album is lots of organ.
Oh,
Lots of it, so it sounds
okay.
wider, it sounds bigger, it sounds
Right.
there's like a support to it.
Right.
So organ, and we actually, that's funny, we figured that out when because JP and I, and now Scott too, we're all big fans of the Sonic Temple album from The Cult, and there's lots of organ on that album, Bob Rock. And and we figured that out, and when we figured that out, JP went right away to buy an organ pedal for his guitar, modulator, and he still has it, works at every show. We still use it in the studio, so we don't have an actual organ with us, but we have the organ pedal, which does the job. So we figured that out, and we're like, let's add a layer. We want it to sound, we want the songs to sound like thicker, you know. So yeah, that's what we figured out, organ, and that's what we do pretty much in all of our new songs since then. And I mean, I think it sounds phenomenal on that Wild Wild Spirit intro. So yeah, that's pretty much how it came out.
Our producers band, like, they did all the different, they had like a regular 5-piece, I think, and then at the end they added the Hammond organ, because they do like southern rock, but very classy southern rock, much classier than me, folks. But anyways, that's a compliment, by the way, Ross. But anyway, so they're they were doing that, and so the organ was the last thing they added, and he's now a full member of the band. Like, they at first thought, like, oh, it's just gonna be like something we add in, and now he's like done.
My cousin plays organ, let's bring him in for the sessions and then peace out.
That, I think they thought it was kind of gonna be like that, but no, he's toured Europe with them now,
awesome.
and like he's a full member of the band, and it's like,
it adds a cool layer to like the classic rock sound.
Once you get that, it's like, oh wow, we have that backing, and it brings you back to like the late 60s, early 70s.
Yeah, exactly.
Procol Harum, all that good stuff.
Yeah. So that's what we use pretty much all of our songs, even like White Bronco, lots of organ. Like I said, you don't necessarily hear it in the song when you listen to it like loud on the radio and all that stuff, but there's lots of organ tracks in it, which we love. And actually, well, good news, White Bronco, we actually got a message today, an email saying it was on rotation at the 107.9 Go Rock in Newfoundland now.
Wow.
Since today, yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you. Yeah, so White Bronco, that's the new single, and that's it. I was talking about one of my two top songs, Wild Wild Spirit. The other one will be White Bronco. Yeah.
Cool. Song. Newfoundland. That's awesome.
Yeah, never been. Not yet.
Hey man, and I think that's what you got to do is wherever, whatever radio station, you know, make a friendship, get in there and get it going. Like,
yeah, exactly.
We're gonna have a few radio DJs coming on here, and I'm excited. And
that's awesome.
They're gonna love to listen to everyone's music. Some of them are from the States, guys.
That's
like,
awesome.
It's that's what I'm hoping, is that all the musicians from Ottawa can, like, if they're a new band, they can go through here and maybe skip a few pages, you know, figure out what they need to get going.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys did, are you still doing your recordings at Hillside Audio?
Yep.
With Cameron Dunn.
With Cameron Dunn, who became a friend too. Awesome dude, awesome studio. awesome engineer. And we're going back. We're actually recording the ghost tracks for a new song we just wrote, which we think will be our strongest. That's funny to say. You know, your baby's always the cutest one, right? So we think that song, it's in the same.
You sound like Kiss, man. You sound like Gene Simmons there a little bit. I like it. No, this is the one. Like,
yeah, this is the one.
You thought that was good, but this
Yeah.
is the one, folks.
So it's the same sound as Wild Spirit. I mean, White Bronco, Rambling Moonchild. It's called Out in the Sky, and it's Scott, drummer Scott Billings, wrote all the lyrics for it, which is awesome. And it came out like that.
Also, the drummer wrote the lyrics for this one.
Yeah,
interesting.
exactly. Which I love. That's awesome.
Yeah, a little Neil Peart action going on here.
I love that. That's awesome. So yeah, we're going back in studio. We're actually finishing the ghost tracks. It should be next Sunday. So anyways, Thursday drums, Sunday vocals. But yeah, we're going back in studio with Cameron Dunn in the next week.
Yeah.
Weeks.
And the White Bronco, that is inspired by your vehicle, the White Bronco?
Not necessarily. That's a funny story. So
all right.
I wrote this song. It's about a native warrior.
Oh.
And I needed I needed a chorus. I needed a title for a song. And I was on my back porch and my White Bronco was parked in the back. And I was like, that would sound good, as it would be a catchy title, and that would be a perfect name for a native warrior. That's how it came about.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, White Bronco. That's what I got. That's what I drive. I love it.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
There's the Burnt Out Paradise music video.
Yeah.
You guys do a lot of music videos, and I think they're all very like style oriented. Like
Thank
you guys try and come across, I think, on your Instagram, on YouTube, as having a certain
Black and white branding.
yeah,
Branding.
It's kind of a classic style of branding, I think.
Really like 80s oriented for sure.
Like you have the dancer as well. Like I saw even at your release show,
Yeah, she was there. Emma.
In May, you had the dancer out, right?
Yeah, for Wild Spirit. Emma
Funny story.
Became a friend. She's awesome, talented. So yeah, we had guests for the last album release, and Emma came up on stage to dance on Wild Spirit, which was awesome. The crowd loved it.
Yeah, you guys pulled it off successfully, having this almost interpretive dance.
Yep.
And the thing is, I'm going to tell you folks, it's not that easy to do, because many years ago, we invited this dancer out to our jam space at the time in Gatineau, and goodness me.
Go ahead.
Yeah, my God. Anyways, so she showed up, and like she was very friendly, maybe too friendly.
Oh, okay.
And all of a sudden, the dancing started to become more like, "Oh, you want me to take my clothes off when I dance?" And it's like, no, that really wasn't what we were.
Maybe it won't work.
It's like not what we were interested in. At any moment right now, Danny's wife could walk through the door, and
we don't want to look like pimps or anything like that.
She's gonna shoot you down if she sees you, and that's not what we were talking about. Yeah, so you guys pull it off. It's super classy. It's professional.
We asked Emma Flynn, pro dancer here in Ottawa, professional. That's what she does for a living. She teaches too. She's great. She's awesome. And we asked her we sent her the track. We asked her if she wanted to do it, and we asked her to create a choreography for it, which she did, and which I think was perfect for the song, for the music video too, and all that stuff. Well, with all the aesthetic of the band and the sound. So yeah, I think it turned out great. I think
so too.
Thank you.
It's a lot better than it turned out for us, folks. And so whenever you guys are preparing for these events, I've noticed that there's a lot of collaboration going on now for you guys. And is this like inspired by more like what we're seeing today in modern music with like Post Malone or Taylor Swift or whoever these stars are? Like, we're seeing a lot of collaboration being used by the record labels to introduce their new artists and bring them up to speed. It's an interesting tactic, but for you guys, I think it's just you're sharing the love. Like at this level, you're just like, let's get in here. You guys have a passion. We have a passion. Let's share this together.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, we did it for the first album release party and for the second one too. I think we also want to offer the crowd, our friends, the people who support us, the people who love the band. We want to offer them like something special, because they've seen normal shows in Ottawa, Montreal, Quebec City, pretty much everywhere. But when they come to a special event that sometimes the ticket is more expensive or anything like that, we want to offer them something special. So bringing on stage artists we like, we love, we support, I think that's important. But to offer something special, I think, and even sometimes we're playing old songs, but we're bringing a guest artist to bring his own twist to the song. I think that's just to thank the people who support us and to give them something special. Yeah.
Absolutely. I liked all the guests that you've brought out.
Thank you.
I thought they were all top tier, awesome people and musicians.
Marin's been here.
Marin's the coolest. Aaron Maiden, very cool.
Emma.
Yeah, Emma. And then, so that was outdoors, right? At Club
Yeah.
Saw, that release event in May?
Yeah. Outdoor show. But we had a retractable roof in case it rained. Because at first we were like, all right, this looks cool. And then we're like, but what if it rains? Because anytime we have outdoor shows that are booked, it rains.
Yeah.
So we're like, that's an important moment for the band. And then we're like, oh, there's a retractable roof. That's perfect setting. And then we're like, it's the first or like second show we're having here on the outdoor stage. And we're like, that's awesome. That's what we want. And I mean, just the setup, the layout was beautiful, awesome. The stage was awesome. Everything went great. Lots of people. And we had a good time. Yeah.
Yeah, it looked really fun.
Yeah.
You recently played August 3rd at Les Go Griff in Montreal.
Yeah.
And that was with Tony Rust and the Mud Horses, who were at that show in May, right?
Yeah.
And then, and also friends of Steve Creep, who I had on the podcast. And then
Steve Creep's awesome, by the way.
Yeah, such a cool guy.
Yeah, we played with him too last summer at Piranha Bar. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and well, I love playing Montreal.
We're making lots of friends in Montreal, lots of good bands, and yeah, we're going back soon.
I love it so much there.
Yeah.
But it was the last show ever for Sunset Drip.
Yeah, exactly. Last show ever. They are disbanding, unfortunately.
That sucks.
It was a great show, but that sucks. Yeah, that's what everyone was saying. Like, it was great, it was fun. So yeah, it was last Saturday, August 3rd at Les Go Griff, and yeah, a good farewell show for Sunset Drip, who also became friends through time. And yeah, they're disbanding. They'll be working on different projects, each and every one of them.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I mean, that's life. They also formed like 6 years ago. So that's what they said. We want to start something else, take different paths, which is life.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was a great show. We had a really good time with the Sunset Drip. Really good time with Tony Russ and the Horses, and the place was packed. So that was great. Yeah, lots of people. Well, I mean, Les Go Griff is a good location on Saint Denis. It was the Oshiaga weekend too, plus farewell show. So there were tons of people, which we
they brought us out there last summer, the Sunset Trip, and it was a similar experience where they had a fantastic group of music lovers come out. And again, I guess that street you were talking about, Saint Denis, is that like their Spark Street kind of in Montreal, the one where you can walk down and it's like blocking off the cars? What road is that like in Montreal?
It's not blocked off. Well, there's a portion of it. I don't know. It's not blocked off, but yeah, it's kind of the Spark Street, Rideau Street, pretty much.
Yeah.
So you got Saint Denis, you got Saint Catherine.
Because I loved walking down there and like just seeing all the different people and the different music, and like we walked past
lots
this
of
group
restaurants
of like
and bars.
They weren't mariachi singers, but there was like a group of Latin people all standing around a truck, and they had like 6 guitars and like ba 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 ba, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? This is awesome.
Yeah, so that's Saint Denis. So always lots of people, always lots of different crowds, lots of bars, lots of different venues too, lots of weird venues, lots of cool venues. So there's something for
everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
As Miguel says, there's l'ambiance ici. We can eat here. This is fine. I don't mind it.
And I mean, like people were walking in and they were like, "Oh, there's a show." We're like, "Yeah, there's a show. $20." They were like, "All right, let's go. Let's do this." So,
awesome.
So that's a fun thing too about Saint Denis. So there's always a big crowd there.
Yeah, I loved it down there.
So yeah, Les Go Griff was a good time. We had a really good time. And hats off to the Sunset Drip, man. We love them, and awesome band too.
Cheers, guys. Really enjoyed our shows with those guys, and wicked music. I mean, music after our own hearts. I think
they could be back one day.
Yeah,
fingers crossed.
Could be, but they'll definitely back with their own projects.
Yeah, exactly.
The most important thing.
Yeah.
So you guys have played Quebec City too in the recent past, or was that a while ago?
No. It was 3 months ago.
Yeah.
4 months ago.
Don't you
like
love Quebec? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I call it Quebec City because I'm an Anglophone idiot, but I mean, I think like Mig and people just call it Quebec.
Yeah.
And like, when I went there with the guys, I was just like, fuck, this is like the coolest place.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, like this is the coolest place. Like I just
Yeah.
wanted to. My imagination was going wild, you know, from seeing the cannonball
Quebec,
stuck in the tree, and to just going through all the old buildings, going for a walk through the fort.
Yeah.
And
It is beautiful. I mean, I understand when there's always lots of tourists there.
Yeah.
Summertime, during fall. I mean, Le Château Frontenac and all around the chateau. I mean, it's just beautiful. Yeah. And actually, when we played there last time, I went to Les Plaines. Les Plaines d'Abraham, which was actually my first time on Les Plaines. I've never been to Les Plaines, even though I've been to Quebec City 1,000 times. I've never been to Les Plaines, so I guess it was time for me to go there and visit the Les Plaines d'Abraham.
My buddy went and busked there for a couple days. Like, he just planned, I'm going to go busk in Quebec for a couple days. And you know what? He ended up getting asked to go there and play for like a solid month by a venue. Like,
That's
the
awesome.
guy just like was walking down and was like listening. And he's a dude from Toronto. So like, he's not like, he's an Anglo guy. And they just came out and were like, yo, that's awesome that you're doing this.
That's
I
great.
love it. You want a gig? Like, you want to come? And
That's
I was
what
like,
you want as a musician.
I'm like, that's a dream, man. I'm like, that's so wicked.
Yeah.
But I love the feel of that place. And
yeah, and people are nice. Everyone's fun in Quebec City. Everyone wants to have a good time all the time. Lots of musicians
all
too.
those years ago, was that the show? Were you with us at that show all those years ago? What's that venue called?
La Source de la Martinière.
Do you remember all the people? Because it was so cold outside.
Yeah, it was
and there
freezing.
was a snowstorm.
Yeah.
And the coat rack was like overflowing. And the people were just coming in, and I was like, yeah.
Yeah, and I remember when you would open the door from the venue, all the like warm air inside would freeze and fall on the ground. It was that cold.
Yeah, it was really cold.
But hey, it gets cold in Quebec City during winter.
Yeah. And I remember there was this great grilled cheese and soup place like that we ate at. I can't remember what it was called, but they had great beer and great grilled cheese.
Well, that's the
custom
thing,
made.
eh? They have lots of good restaurants in
Oh
Quebec
yeah,
City.
it was just like a mom and pop place, but that's what I like. That's what I appreciate.
Great place.
So
and I mean, pretty much everyone listens to rock music in Quebec City, which is good for rock bands here from Ottawa. That's why we play there a lot. We love it. Lots of cool venues too, but I mean, Quebec City is beautiful, like we were saying.
Yeah, I want to get back to it.
Yeah.
So you have shows coming up at La Maison in Cornwall.
Yep.
And also Blue Martini.
Yeah, it's changed. It changed. It will be overtime.
Overtime now.
Yeah.
Okay, so now it'll be overtime in Kingston on September 21st.
Yep.
But Cornwall, have you played La Maison before?
Not yet. Never.
I've heard bands say they had a really good time there.
You never played there?
I haven't. I've never played Cornwall, and I really want to. I do. I really want to. And the thing is I've heard bands tell me they got taken care of there. Like, the venues were really good to them.
Well, that's what I heard, too. I just saw, actually, the Damn Truth actually just booked this show in 4 weeks in Cornwall at La Maison, So I can't wait to actually play that venue.
I think it's great to see them bringing more acts in there, and Cornwall's not that far away, so I'm glad that they can
50, like an hour.
Yeah, exactly. It's not that bad, So, and it's a different community completely, completely different.
I haven't been to Cornwall in forever.
Yeah, when I was a kid, it just smelled bad because of Domtar and the paper company.
Yeah,
and I don't know if it's still there anymore.
I don't know.
And the bridge there to the U.S. was always a big deal to me when I was over there. And I remember going over for like a hockey tournament, spending like 6 hours over there being like, I'm in America.
Yeah.
I'm in America. And then like driving back over and like the parents getting in arguments with the American parents was great. We got locked in the locker room.
So that was when you go to Plattsburgh pretty much, right?
Yeah. Well, Messina, it's like Messina and then Plattsburgh, I think.
Okay.
And there's other, I don't know, but I'm really not good at that. But I remember going over there for hockey tournaments as a kid, and like this, I remember one of my teammates' parents, like she tried to kick one of the Americans' parents like in the nuts, and like he caught her shoe by closing his legs together and take the shoe out and threw it at her. And
How old
like,
were you?
Like 12 or 13.
12.
And
Yeah.
like we won this tournament in the States, right?
least.
And so like when we come off, then we're like, Canada,
Yeah.
Canada, right? And then like we're right on the border. So like the American parents got into it with our parents.
happy
Like we
about
weren't
it.
even bad. Like we were closed in the locker
Well,
room.
younger kids being happy about it.
Yeah, we were
Yeah.
just thrilled. And then they're like, don't come out. Like there's stuff going on. It's like, yeah, parents being idiots, which
Yeah,
is normally the case in minor hockey folks.
That's what I was about to say. Like lots of parents take it way too seriously.
Did you play hockey growing up?
Yeah, 10 years from 4 to 14 as a goaltender too.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I went through to all the elite.
Being a goalie means we're
hockey school.
weirdos.
Yeah, I
we're
guess.
the weirdos. We
Yeah.
think differently.
Yeah,
and
maybe.
Like, oh, totally, man. Think about like the legendary goalies like Dominic Hasek
Yeah.
and Patrick Waugh and Martin
Yeah.
Brodeur. I remember meeting Martin Brodeur's father at like all the
Didn't he?
hockey camps because he was
Yeah.
always selling Marty's pictures,
Yeah.
the autographed
Photos,
photos, right?
yeah.
And gosh, what other hockey camps? Brad Marsh's hockey camp, the Ottawa Senators hockey
Yeah,
camp.
I went to François Allaire's hockey camp in Sainte-Thérèse. François Allaire, who coached Patrick Roy when he won the Stanley Cup, and Jean-Sébastien Giguère when he won the Stanley Cup with Anaheim. So I went there. There was actually Corey Crawford when he was playing. He was one of the coaches when he was playing for the Wildcats, the Moncton Wildcats, and before he was drafted already, but it was before, like a year or 2 years before he was playing for Chicago. And I also met Patrick Lalime because it was
cool.
So the summer hockey camp was it was a partnership with Sherwood. So Patrick Lalime, who was playing for the Ottawa Senators, was wearing Sherwood gear.
Yep.
And on the last day, there was a draw to win his hockey stick, and I won it. I won the hockey stick. Yeah, it's a white Sherwood hockey stick. So yeah, that was a good time. Lots of people like from all around the world. I was 12, and so anyway, I get there. I thought, like, I don't know. On my way there, I was like, everyone will speak French there. Anyways, I'll read. Anyways, so I get there, and there were people from Russia, people from like all over the place, and it was fantastic. I was there for a week in dorms.
It makes you better too, folks.
Yeah.
When I went back to tryouts after the year that I did like the serious goalie camp, people noticed. Like people were like, "Oh crap!" Like the parents of the other goalies were like, "Oh, you can tell that Warren's confident." At the very least, you go into these camps, you come out, and you feel good about your game. You feel like, like I worked on my glove hand, I worked on my weak points, I worked on my movements,
and
my
just the
positioning.
fact that you haven't stopped at all during summer and done nothing.
Yeah.
You keep improving all the time.
For me, I was never growing enough. Like I was always Mr. Shorty and Mr. Tiny. So like I went to this one camp for a week where like I had to sleep there, and it was Barry Madigan's camp. And I remember one of the big drawing factors was his meals that they prepared was like a lot of calories. So like when I came back home, I'd gained like 10, 12 pounds, and my family was like, yeah, good. This is excellent.
Good for you, son.
This is what we need.
Yeah.
And, but being a goalie is a lot of pressure, but also a lot of fun. Like, so much fun when you make that big save that can change the game.
Yeah.
And also, I think it teaches you how to compete, but be a gentleman when competing because you have a partner.
Well, I mean, you have a partner, and at the same time, you're kind of alone in a team.
Yeah.
So you kind of learn what teamwork is.
Yep.
And you see the game from the back all the time. So you learn a lot more about, like I said, teamwork. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
Who did you cheer for growing up?
Oh, you know the answer, I guess. Always Ottawa Senators. I'm a huge Sens fan. Always been. Since I can remember, actually, elementary school.
It's a big deal, and it's a good thing then that Michael Andlauer has made it a point to address the Gatineau community and not ignore them. Like, for somebody like yourself who grew up there, that does matter, yes?
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, it matters a lot.
There you go.
Just the communications I get with sales rep and stuff like that for, let's say, season tickets and all that stuff. And when you ask to speak to someone in French, you just back then, like I know it
Wow.
all changed. I would just not get any replies at
That's
all.
super disappointing.
Yeah, like
That's
I
super
was like, I want to
disappointing.
buy season tickets, and then can I speak to someone in French? And then I would get no reply at all. I mean, that's no good business. That wasn't no good business for Eugene Melnick. So the fact that Anne Lauer addresses that problem, that's great. And the fact that he speaks French, just the fact that he knows that Gatineau exists, because at one point we weren't sure that Melnick knew that Gatineau existed.
He didn't. He
10
didn't.
minutes from the stadium. So
He was a real interesting character,
Person, yeah.
wasn't he? And I
Yeah.
mean, the thing about Andlauer is, like, you can see, like, Steos is learning French. He's
Yeah,
in French
I saw that.
classes. Like,
Yeah.
they give a damn about this community.
I saw
Thank
that.
goodness we have some people that give a darn about the community here.
they have a French teacher at the rink
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
players, and that's what Steos was talking about with Allmark. Allmark, new goaltender, was like,
Yeah.
I guess I'll need to
learn French now.
And in the comment section, I was seeing people from Ottawa, and they were like, "Oh, you don't need new people in
He
Gatineau
will,
speak
though.
French," and I was like, "People from Gatineau actually go see the team play. That's
That's-
our area.
there
That's
you
our
go.
team." I was like, everyone needs to understand that. So when I saw that Allmark was like, I need to learn French now, and that Steos was learning French, I was like, that's what we need. That's awesome. That's great for French fans too. I mean, hey, if you go like Eastern Ontario, like they have lots of French fans there.
Yep.
So they need to take care of them.
I agree.
Franco-Ontarians, they need to take care of them.
Yep. I agree
So
so
yeah,
much.
I was stoked when I saw that during the very first press conference that Lauer did when he bought the team, and that's good. That's good marketing. That's good for the fans. That's good for the players, because there's a couple of French players in the team. So that's great. I mean, I love it.
Yeah.
I love seeing that.
It's too bad. Like, Chabot's still here, but we lost Joseph.
Yeah. That's life.
But yeah, that teams make changes, and I think there was a lot of heat on Joseph anyways, and a fresh start was probably the
Yeah.
best case scenario for him.
Yeah, for sure.
Same thing with Chikrin.
Yeah.
That just didn't work out.
Yeah, I like Chikrin a lot.
I think he criticized people in the locker room.
That's possible.
And perhaps challenged leadership.
Mm-hmm.
And that can...
Well, we also need a defensive.
Exactly.
Blue liners.
Jensen's gonna hopefully be like me thought was to Carlson.
Yeah, exactly.
Jensen's hopefully gonna be that shutdown DeMello guy that we had
that we
years
need.
ago, and we need that character on the team badly.
You got Chabot, you got Sanderson, and you had Chikrin that are really good,
but
offensive
all similar.
blue liners, but yeah, way too similar.
Yeah.
So hopefully, like you said, like Nick Jensen will do that job on the blue line.
They all sound like quality people as well. Like
Yeah.
that's what and whether that's like the media department doing a great job of
Maybe.
presenting, or whether it's the truth, I don't care.
Well, I'm
this
pretty
is the way
sure-
it should be done, folks. You need to give your staff the best opportunity
Yeah.
to present themselves. And
And I think having Brady Tkachuk as a captain who surrounds himself with, I think, good people, and that's what people say. That's what his dad says. That's what his brother says. I mean, everyone
Brady's
that
the
knows him,
coolest.
they're like, he surrounds himself with good people, because he's an actual good person.
yeah, man.
So hopefully, I mean, the team will make the playoffs. Hopefully the team will make the playoffs.
Well, I
this
think
year.
Brady will lose his mind. That's the
Yeah.
thing. Like, all the trade rumors were absolute baloney, but what people are...
That's I saw online that's why he quit social medias, because like, I never said to anyone
Yeah.
I wanted to quit. I wanted to leave Ottawa. It's like, I'm not leaving. I'm here.
It's absolute baloney.
Yeah.
But there's truth in the fact that guy wants to win, and
course.
that guy wants to get to the playoffs. And
Yeah.
so yeah, we got to cheer them on and hope that they get there. And
And hopefully Allmark will help.
oh, he's gotta, folks.
I mean, I had high hopes for Corpusalo last
Oh,
year.
I did too. But now going back and looking at the numbers,
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, why did I have all this hope? Because
Yeah, I know.
if I go back and look at the numbers, I'm like, well, he didn't really have anything where it was like,
No.
oh wow, he's a starter. Like,
And I remember that's what people from Columbus and people from LA were saying, but I still had high hopes for Corpusalo. I was like, that will be his best year ever, and then paf.
yeah, I know. It was frustrating. Very
lot.
frustrating season.
Yeah.
I've got high hopes for this season. It can't, in my mind, I'm like, it can't be worse than last year.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
can't be.
Well, I mean, Forsberg does a good job.
He had a winning record at the
Yeah.
end of the year, despite his like up and down play.
Yeah.
He had 2 shutouts and he had a winning record.
And even the year before he got injured, and he had a good year too.
Yep.
So I mean, he's a solid backup goaltender. he's not a starting goaltender, but he's a solid backup goaltender, I think.
Yeah.
And hopefully, well, also the good thing is, I mean, maybe that's just me, but now we're going deep into Sen stuff. But
That's okay.
I mean, when I saw interviews with Corpus Salo and stuff like that, he didn't seem that happy to be traded to Ottawa.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, meh, okay, yeah, I'm traded to Ottawa. Yeah, okay, we'll see what will. So at least Ullmark looks super happy to come to Ottawa.
He's a smart dude. You can tell Ullmark is just a smart person.
He was saying he can't wait to work with Alfie.
Yep.
Sweden.
Yep.
He's like, I already know Forsberg. I know some of the guys. He's like, I'm happy to actually move. He's like, when I told my kids, he's like, there's a museum with dinosaurs and there are winter storms. He's like, my son was stoked about moving to Ottawa.
Yeah, it's true. We do have awesome museums here.
Yeah.
Little Daxon, who was on the podcast, I saw him on the weekend up at my grandma's and up at Constance Bay. So beautiful.
Yeah.
And so I saw Daxon and he came running up and he was like, can I be on the podcast again?
Yeah.
And I was like, soon, Daxon, soon.
Couple weeks.
Yeah,
later.
give it a little time.
Yeah.
But yeah, they love that stuff.
No, we have a beautiful. I mean, Ottawa's a beautiful city. Lots of people tend to forget about it, but Ottawa's beautiful. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I want to say thank you so much to Alexandre Maheux of Sunday Riot Club. By the way, how did you come up with the name?
That's funny because I answered that question last week.
Okay.
So we had to figure out a name for the band, JP and I, when we started the band. And I was at Ottawa Fury. I don't know if you remember the Fury,
Yeah,
the
of
soccer
course.
team. And they had the supporters, that group of supporters that was called the Stony Monday Riot, which is linked to political stuff 100 years ago in the Iowa market. Yeah, the fight they had, Tories and Liberals, Stony Monday Riot. So I was like, all right, these words, it sounds cool. It sounds great. There's
something there.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, Sunday, Stony Monday, Sunday Riot Club. That's how it came up. And we wanted something catchy. We wanted something that looked good on a poster too. Even though we didn't have any posters back then or anything like that. But we were like, let's figure out something cool. And yeah, we refer to it as SRC2 now a lot. And that's how it came up. Yeah.
Well, get out there, folks. Get on Spotify. Get on YouTube. Go find yourself some Sunday Riot Club to listen to. They have L'Opera out now. They have Graffiti out from the past. They have all these great singles out, music videos out. Immerse yourself if you love rock music, folks. Get into it. And go see them in Cornwall. Go see them in Kingston or in Oshawa at the Atria in October. Thank you again so much, Alex.
Thanks for having me. That's awesome.
Man.
I love it.
Thank you, man.
That's cool.
And thank you out there for watching. And we'll see you next time on All Worn Out. Bye-bye, everybody.